Jacob Sartorius scandal. Allegedly, this young man has been pressuring girls for nudes. Now, to any adults watching this, you in your adult life may have asked other adults for nudes. And asking adults for nudes, in many contexts, isn't seen as illegal. However, Jacob is not an adult, and it seems the people he was asking for nudes weren't adults either. But even if he was asking adults for nudes, there would still be an obvious problem, which I'm pretty sure you can figure out. There's a girl tweeting saying that Jacob forced her to send him nudes. In this context, what that translates to is coercion or compulsion, especially with the use or threat of violence. Pretty sure there wasn't a threat of violence, so maybe this one's a little gray on the force thing. And here are the texts allegedly from Jacob. If you pause and read them, you can see how if he really did that, he was significantly strong-arming her. Does this remind anyone of Carter Reynolds? You know, the guy that tried to pressure his girlfriend into giving him a blowjob on camera. This section of an article states the obvious, that these texts totally could have been fabricated. Someone could have had two phones and just text themselves repeatedly. They could just fake the name and everything. That, or they could use Photoshop, or even online apps that help you fake text people. But to clear up what I've said so far, these texts allegedly took place through Facebook direct messaging. Again, something that could very easily be faked. This certainly doesn't help his cause. An article's pointing out that around the same time, Jacob was clearly desperate and maybe physically romantically distressed. Apparently the dude's never heard of a porn site. When any of you are feeling inspired to ask someone for nudes, just consider the fact that there are literally millions of videos and pictures online that you can look at without triggering a scandal. This person wants to know why Jacob's parents didn't get involved and stop him from being what they call an F-boy. Reality check, people. When I lived with my Christian pastor father in Ohio, we had dial-up internet because that's how fucking old I am. And on that dial-up internet, he had a number of parent blockers. I still got past that shit right to the porn. Parents don't have control over their children every second of every day. I mean, what did you really expect the parents to do? They probably never imagined their kid would be asking for nudes, so they probably didn't know to tell him not to do that. This person says, if you want to know why I'm mad at Jacob, watch this. Oh, it's that guy who exploits his own offspring for personal gain. His lover was about to have a baby, so he thought to himself, hey, I should film all this shit. And guess what the internet did? They littered the internet with comments on how ugly they thought his baby was. Yeah, DeFranco, that's why you don't exploit your children. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say.
Also included a video of her opening the app showing that all the direct messages are real.
Alright, so obviously it's been established that those texts were not Photoshopped. That does not mean they could not still be faked by being sent to her by an imposter. Anyway, Potato Face goes on to say, Jacob, I was your age once, so I kinda get it. But you need to get your act together, mister. Ultimately, what a lot of people want to know is whether or not the scandal is true. Sadly, the fact that Jacob hasn't said anything about it is likely what's going to make this all go away. Because people can start fake accounts on Facebook and direct message a lot of people whatever they want. But based on my knowledge of teen boys, and also judging from the fact that Jacob was proven pretty desperate at the time, lastly adding the fact that the girl proved that she could scroll through the texts, making it more elaborate than your typical lie, I feel like it's more likely that it's true, but like I said, it's probably going to go away. Many of us are going to forget it ever happened, because many members of society are sociopathic scum who allow pieces of shit like Chris Brown to continue to be famous despite violating women nearly beyond recognition. Carter Reynolds, a guy who tried to film his underage girlfriend blowing him, I would tell you he's still famous, but he blocked me, and I don't care enough to log out to find out. But my point is, we live in a society that constantly forgives men for their disgusting behavior, and it's not just other men to blame. Women forgive too. Tons of females flock towards these abusive motherfuckers, seemingly no matter what they do. We complain about men trying to violate women on a regular basis, and yet men and women keep forgiving. Regardless, I'm not going to condemn a person based on insufficient evidence. Carter Reynolds, proven piece of shit. Chris Brown, proven piece of shit. Jacob, there's evidence, but unlike with Chris Brown and Carter Reynolds, I have yet to see irrefutable evidence. Seriously though, you crazy fuckers need to stop supporting Carter Reynolds and Chris Brown. To support them is to shit on women.